please be seated. With that, would you please welcome fellow Rotary your youth, Eric?
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today and to share about Mesa. I also want to thank the Ashland Club for your past support of Mesa. I know you've been Mesa supporters for many years, so I want to thank you for that. And we need you to continue that support now, probably more than ever. You know, as I travel around the Rotary world, I'm amazed at how many people I run into outside of District 6600 who know a great deal about Mesa. I'm always amazed at how the reach of that program goes outside of our district. And conversely, I'm also amazed when I travel within our district, some of the people I meet who are District 6600 Rotarians who really don't know very much about Mesa. And so I think we've done probably a poor job within our district of publicizing Mesa. So hope to correct a little bit of that today. And I realize that some longtime Rotarians probably know more about Mesa than I do. And then there's some newer Rotarians that may not have very much knowledge about Mesa at all. So I'll try to give everybody a little something today that you might learn. First, I want to give you two disclaimers. First, I'm sorry I couldn't be there today in person, but I've pledged to keep my germs confined to the local area. And so I'm glad to join you today by Zoom, but I'm by no means a Zoom expert. I just got acquainted with Zoom this year as a result of the coronavirus. I've unfortunately put in a lot of hours in Zoom meetings, which I would have rather had in-person meetings, but Zoom's a great vehicle to use when we can't be there in person. So I'm by no means a Zoom expert. I have gotten rid of my faulty virtual background, which took me a couple weeks to get rid of. Otherwise, you would have seen the parts of the Golden Gate Bridge behind me as I spoke today. So I have been able to get rid of that. So I am learning about Zoom. The second disclaimer is I'm also the new Mesa chair. I'm the chair as of July 1st. I became the chair of Mesa in District 6600. So, you know, although I've been associated with Mesa for a number of years, I think when you become the chair or the head of any organization, you go through a period of finding out how much you really don't know about the organization that you thought you knew everything about. So I'm in that learning stage right now of learning just really how much I don't know about Mesa. Let me get back to Mesa, and I'll start at the beginning. Mesa is an acronym for medical equipment and supplies abroad. It's a 501c3 charitable organization, and it was founded right here in District 6600 in 1981. So we've been around for almost 40 years now. As its name implies, Mesa collects medical equipment and supplies and ships them to needed areas around the world. And when I say around the world, I really mean that. We've shipped to Europe, Africa, Asia. We're focused right now on Central America. We've also shipped to South America. We have shipped supplies as far as Mongolia and literally all around the world. Since its inception, it's shipped over 200 containers with literally multi-millions of dollars worth of medical, I should probably say multi-hundreds of millions of dollars worth of medical equipment to areas in need around the world. Every Rotarian in District 6600 is a member of Mesa. And Mesa is one of only two such Rotary organizations in the United States. So we're very proud to have it headquartered here in District 6600. Let me talk just for a minute about a subcommittee or a partner, I would say, of Mesa, and that's actually Resource Centers International, or RCI as we call it. RCI operates, opens really resource centers and pre and primary schools in Belize and Jamaica. They load shipping containers with computers, books, DVD players, media, uh, bookshelves, educational games and toys. And then in conjunction with local Rotary clubs, everything that Mesa does is in conjunction with local Rotary clubs. So in conjunction with those local Rotary clubs and RCI setup teams, they set up resource centers at preschools and elementary schools in those areas. And so they're always looking for donations for all those items I just mentioned, computers, books, any educational items. And they're really focused on preschool, kindergarten age range. And then they recondition all those items. If you give them a computer, they're going to clean up that computer, take everything off of it and load it with educational software. And then they actually go to the sites when they ship those and set up those centers so that we can try to give those young children a head start on their educational career. So that's our RCI. That's kind of a partner of Mesa. They're actually located, those items are warehoused at our Mesa warehouse. And we do shipments out of that Mesa warehouse for RCI. So I like to think of Mesa as a three-legged stool. And to perform well, all those legs need to be strong. So first leg would be Mesa collects equipment and supplies from hospitals, nursing homes, doctors, dentists, and others. And give you a few examples. In close to your area in Mansfield a couple years ago, a hospital renovated, really updated or totally replaced some operating rooms. So they gave Mesa all the previous equipment that had been in that operating room, all the tables, the lights, all the equipment. I can tell you that equipment did not stay long in our Mesa warehouse. It was in demand quickly in actually Central America. We're kind of focused a lot on Central America now, on Honduras, Colombia, Guatemala. Some of you may not realize Guatemala is the second poorest country in the Western Hemisphere behind Haiti. So they have a lot of needs. And we found areas that have lots of needs relatively in a global sense close to us. You know, other instances, we just recently had a doctor in Toledo who retired, gave Mesa essentially all the equipment from his office, all the exam tables, chairs, file cabinets, everything from his office, which will go a long way in outfitting a clinic in some of those areas. We also had an ambulance company in Toledo that went out of business, gave us gurneys, backboards, a lot of equipment used in ambulances. So we collected not just from hospitals, but certainly our largest amount of equipment comes from hospitals, nursing homes, but other areas. In St. Mary's right here, we have a family life center, a pro-life organization that just got a new ultrasound machine. They gave Mesa their old ultrasound machine. So our equipment comes from a number of different sources. Mesa has 2 trucks. We just a couple years ago got a truck finally with a lift gate on it, which was a great addition. If you can imagine trying to lift hospital beds into a truck with a tailgate about 4 feet off the ground, it's a bit of a challenge. So that truck with a lift gate was a great thing to have. So we've got 2 trucks that make pickups, and then the items are brought to our warehouse in Fostoria. It's a 26,000 square foot warehouse, which we purchased about 5 or 6 years ago now. So it's a great upgrade from facilities we've had in the past. The items are unloaded and sorted and inventoried largely by volunteers with the assistance of our operations manager, Scott Salyers. Scott's Mesa's only employee. He is a part-time employee. So we rely a lot on volunteers to work alongside Scott's efforts. The second leg would be in partner with the local Rotary clubs in the destination countries. We vet specific needs and prepare shipments. So we don't want to ship items to locations that are not going to be used. So we normally get a list of requested items so that if they need exam tables, and other things, lighting, we're not sending them hospital beds. We want to send them what they need and only what they need. And I might also say that we send them only working equipment. If you're sending equipment to Guatemala or Mongolia or wherever, and it's not working, if we can't get it working here, they're probably not going to get it working there. So whether it's a hospital bed or an ultrasound machine or whatever, we try to send it with all the manuals, everything that it needs to, and make sure it's in working order and that it'll stay in working order as long as possible. So we prepare those shipments, and volunteers load 40-foot shipping containers. Those are shipped by trucks and by sea. Goes from the Mesa warehouse on a truck to a port here in the US, and then is shipped by sea to a port in the receiving country, in which case it is then the responsibility of the local Rotary Club to get that from the port to the final destination, and to see that it's unloaded and the equipment is properly distributed. Mesa's continued to operate during the coronavirus. We've made pickups and we continue to ship. Haven't really experienced that much difficulty. We do have some difficulty. For a while, hospitals did not want basically anyone on their campus who did not really need to be there. So we were restricted in pickups at hospitals. I think we've caught up pretty well on those now. And we did have some shipping problems. We ship sometimes through ports in the New York, New Jersey area. And we thought it was best to stay away from those ports for a while. So we've shipped through other ports. So we had to make some plan B on our shipping sometimes. This year, we actually expect to make 8 to 9 shipments. And as a matter of fact, we'll be loading a shipment at the Mesa warehouse, and it'll be departing this Thursday morning. So we are continuing to ship almost as I speak. Our goal for next year is really 12 shipments. We would like to do approximately 1 a month. And I think we can reach that level. Keep in mind that these are all 40-foot intermodal shipping containers, and they're really packed to the brim. So there's, when I say a shipment, it's like loading a semi with medical equipment. The third leg of that stool would be, in order to keep these pickups and shipments all going and to run the warehouse, Mesa needs funds. So fundraising is very important to accomplish our mission. Now, Mesa's main fundraiser, as you know, is the annual Mesa Bike Ride. And that ride rotates around the district every 4 or 5 years into different areas of the district. It's a week-long ride, and there's also day riders that join the ride at various points along its route. And that ride typically raises $50,000 to $60,000, which is approximately half of Mesa's annual budget. Comes from that bike ride. Now, the bike ride has always been in June. This past year, we decided to move that to September. That was really before the coronavirus situation. That move was made independent of that. It was made largely because the weather that we've had in the past few Junes has not been good for a bike ride. We've had a lot of wet weather. And Randy Box, our ride chair, and some others felt that September would be a better time to have the bike ride. So it was planned for September. However, the virus has changed those plans, as it's changed a lot of other plans. The actual physical bike ride, the annual Mesa Bike Ride, has been canceled for this year. In its place, we really have, it's going by some different names, but the one we had originally was Mesa's virtual bike ride. So let me tell you a little bit about that. And this kind of evolves. I have to check every day to see how it's changing. We're going to have a kickoff actually this Saturday via Zoom at 10 o'clock Saturday morning. But we're calling it the 2020 Mesa Virtual Bike Ride. And it's really open to everyone this year. It's going to be not just a bike ride, but it's going to be a walk, run, ride, and even stationary bike ride. So every individual will have their own course. You can do it at your own pace, on your own time. You can collect actually pledges to support your ride and then record your mileage. And the ride this year lasts, rather than a week, it lasts from August 1st to September 30th. So we're going in August and September. So you can ride at your own pace, your own course, your own mileage, get your own pledges, and you can walk, run, or ride this year. So the contact information for Mesa and for the bike ride is on our website, rotarymesa.org. That's a relatively new website. We updated our website in the spring, along with a video we prepared for Mesa and some new brochures. And so our website is kind of a work in progress. If you go to rotarymesa.org, it kicks you over to our district website, and our Mesa website is now hosted by the district website. So, but rotarymesa.org will get you there. You can find out contact information. You can donate to Mesa. You can do all kinds of things. And hopefully, I'm told there will be a printable donation form for the bike ride if you prefer to send a check rather than donate online. I looked yesterday and that form was not there, but hopefully it will be very soon. I have seen the form. The form does exist. It's just not uploaded to the website, but you can donate to Mesa using a credit card on that site. So other than the bike ride, which you know about, which is kind of different this year, how can you and your club help Mesa? Well, the first thing you can do is you can collect good used medical equipment in good working order and other supplies from hospitals, nursing homes, doctors, dentists, and others. You can contact Mesa if you need assistance in transporting that to the warehouse in Fostoria. One other item that we're always in need of is good used clothing. We place the clothes in plastic bags and use those as packing material to cushion equipment in our shipment. Surprisingly, at least surprisingly to me, our items normally arrive in very good condition at their destination thousands of miles away. Seems to work better actually putting these items on a semi, then on a ship, and then on a semi again. Rather, they seem to come out better than a box sent in the mail most times. So they arrive in very good shape, but we use that clothing to cushion some of the equipment as packing material. And then when it gets to the destination, we actually distribute that clothing to those people in need. And that's normally a very important part of the Mesa shipment, is the clothing. People look forward to getting that clothing, which we just kind of use that as packing material. So we're always in need of good used clothing, along with all the medical equipment and supplies. The second way you can help is to volunteer at the Mesa warehouse to sort and inventory items. We're in constant need of people to do that. As you can imagine, we get truckloads of items in, we have to unload them, and then they need to go to their appropriate places in the warehouse. And we also need to keep an inventory of what we have available so that we can match those needs of the Rotary clubs that are requesting items. Those jobs are best done in small groups, and you can contact our operations manager, Scott Salyers, and all of his contact information is at rotarymesa.org. And Scott can schedule a time where you can help us on an evening or a weekend or during a weekday even, as Scott is available. And the third way, of course, your company, your club, or you can donate funds to Mesa. I can tell you we operated at a deficit this past year, and it's looking like That unfortunately will be the case probably again this year. We typically get about 12% of our annual budget from the dues that are billed. They're actually voluntary dues that are billed, but most clubs pay those. They're billed July 1st with the district dues that are billed then. The district decided to forego billing half the district dues this year, the first half, July 1st, so your club did not get a bill, and it did not get a bill for any Mesa dues either. So we generally have money coming in June and July from dues, which is about 12% of our budget, and then approximately 50% from the bike ride. Well, we have none of that money coming in right now. I think the dues, my understanding is, will be billed in January with the other half installment. And then we have this virtual bike ride, and we don't know what the income total will be, of course, for that. This is the first year we've done that. So we're kind of nervous about our revenue situation for the year ahead. So we appreciate your support this year more than ever, I would say. So you can support the bike ride, or you can just donate to Mesa in general. Another way you can actually help us is any club that's looking for an international service project. Sometimes there's difficulty if you don't have a great deal of funds to do really an international service project. But you can help either sponsor a shipment in whole or in part. Our average shipping cost is about $6,000 to get items from our Mesa warehouse to the destination country. So you can sponsor $1,000, $2,000, or an entire shipment. And that is our Mesa's major cost item, is the cost of those shipments. And if we're going to do 12 shipments next year at $6,000, that's actually $72,000 that we're looking for to pay for those shipments. So we're glad to receive any support, whether it's the bike ride, general donation, supporting shipments. And once again, you can find information and you could donate directly through rotarymesa.org. That is about all I have for you today. I'll be glad to answer, or attempt to answer anyhow, any questions that anyone might have.
Anybody, any questions?
You might want to go to the mic.
You mentioned
Go to the microphone. Mitch,
only ship.
repeat the question. Or repeat it. Mitch can repeat it.
I can do it. I know you can.
Sorry.
I was wondering if you do any kind of repair on those items that you said that you don't ship unless they're in perfect working order. Do we do any?
Yes, we do actually do some repair on. We could always use expertise in more technical medical equipment. We don't necessarily have the expertise to repair instruments and things. We do repair beds. I can tell you, for example, Scott just got I think it was 16 beds. I'm trying to think where it was from. I think it was from Tiffin, and he got 16 beds. Actually, some of the beds were not in working order. He took parts and kind of cannibalized those and got 12 working beds out of those 16 beds. So we do try to, Scott is very focused on only putting items in that shipping container that work and that will work when they get to the other end. So we don't want to take up space in a container, sending items that cannot be used. One important point to think about is, I mentioned that hospital in Mansfield that updated their operating rooms. If you went to that hospital, the week before that was done, you were operated on in those operating rooms. So all the equipment was perfectly usable. It was just more of an update to modernize those facilities. So all that equipment is perfectly usable. A lot of times hospitals just want to update their equipment, sometimes from a technical standpoint, sometimes just from a more of an appearance standpoint, I would say. So sometimes, you know, in this country, we're looking for a 10%, you know, upgrade or improvement in our facilities. You have to realize where this equipment is going. You know, this equipment is 100% upgrade to them. That bed is replacing a mat on the floor. That exam table might be replacing a piece of plywood between two sawhorses. So it's a total upgrade to them, and they can use things that, you know, we might consider outdated here. For example, crank beds. You know, we use electric beds in most hospitals here, and crank beds might be considered outdated hand crank beds. In a lot of areas where we're sending equipment, there's not a consistently reliable electrical supply. So a hand crank bed, it works fine for them. And keep in mind that is in many times replacing maybe a cart in a hallway or a mat on the floor. So that's a major upgrade for them. So you have to keep in mind where these things are going, but we do try to make everything usable. We don't want to send any items that are not usable to them.
Any other questions?
How about asking how far in advance do they plan their 12 shipments? Like how far ahead?
Gary, the question is, how far in advance do you plan your shipments?
Well, a lot of that depends on our work with the Rotary clubs in the destination countries. And sometimes that changes. We had a shipment planned to a prenatal clinic, and had to change that or postpone that some because we didn't have the items that they actually needed. So we had hoped to do that. So sometimes it's depending on the incoming items and what people are requesting. But our goal for next year is to do one a month. That would be a workable schedule, we feel, for us in terms of managing the warehouse and loading containers and getting equipment. All those things have to work together. We have to get the equipment in. Of course, if we don't have equipment, we can't ship it. If we have too much equipment, then it overloads the warehouse. We have to ship it out. And then the funding, we have to keep the flow of funds going to make all those things work.
Anybody else?
I do have a question. How does these countries know about Mesa, and how does the hospitals in the United States know to donate?
Gary, the question is, how are you getting the word out? The recipient countries, how are they made aware of Mesa? And then on this end, what are you doing to get the word out so that hospitals, when they're doing upgrades or they have excess equipment, how do they know to turn to Mesa or turn to Rotary?
You know, we actually, I know Scott has contacts with a lot of the facilities people at hospitals all around our district, and they oftentimes call him because they, you know, need to get rid of equipment when they replace it with new equipment. Sometimes sometimes they give him a long enough lead time. You know, they tell him the plans, and other times it's, we need you to pick this up tomorrow, you know, for example. He has gotten those calls. But we rely really a lot on local Rotary clubs and a lot of friends of Mesa in local Rotary clubs. Oftentimes there's people I know in our club in St. Mary's. We have 3 individuals actually affiliated with the hospital in St. Mary's. So they're well aware of Mesa, and we rely on local Rotary clubs who have members of hospitals in their clubs to get that word out to those hospitals. And then, you know, a lot of doctors are just also sometimes members of Rotary clubs or no members in Rotary clubs. And then it's really a word of mouth process, you know, by Rotarians telling their fellow Rotary members and others about that. We are trying to upgrade our PR campaign. I can tell you, it really started with, sadly, with an effort to, we were going to be the featured organization from our district at all Ohio President-elects training in March in Columbus. That's where president-elects from 290 clubs or so in Ohio are trained for a couple of days in Columbus. Each one of the 5 districts in Ohio was going to highlight one part of their district, and District 6600 was going to highlight Mesa. So we came up with a video that we were going to show there, new brochures to hand out to all the presidents, new cards, a lot of, and that's when we really redesigned our website to go along with all that. And then, of course, a week before that event, it was canceled. So, so we are in the process of, you know, trying to update our PR efforts and our fundraising efforts. That was going pretty hot and heavy right up until March 1st. And then the coronavirus kind of took us out of that game for a while. So we're trying to get back into that, but hopefully that's one of our goals, along with the 12 shipments, is to upgrade our PR image, get the word out to, I mentioned a lot of people in District 6600 don't really know that much about Mesa, and we would like to change that by the end of next Rotary year.
See, no more questions, Gary. Well, thank you for joining us. You did a great job. You highlighted not only what the challenges are, but what your plans are to address this.
Well, thanks for the opportunity to speak to you. And as I said, thanks for the Ashland Club support and past years. And we hope that support continues for Mesa. So thanks.
Thanks, Gary. All right, in the last minute or so we got left over, I do want to take a point to do some brag for bucks, because I know there's got to have a couple of different opportunities here. I'll leave it off. Two of my favorite people in this club, Glenn Stewart, just had a birthday. So $1 for Glenn, and Tom's got a birthday coming up later. Happy birthday to you guys. Yeah.
I want to throw in 11 bucks today, but I have 11 grandkids. 4 of them were here over the weekend. And, you know, we see all this stuff on TV and all these young people rioting and carrying on and doing all this stuff, and it just reminds us that we got a lot of good kids out there, too. 4 of my grandkids have already graduated from college. Most of them are working. 2 of them are in college. 2 of them are in high school. One of them is in grade school. One of them is 22 months old, and at 9:50 this morning, my grandson, big old boy, and everybody's class. I'm real proud. David, I want to support what I'm going to cheering, supporting a local business. I see Dan go to the coffee shop every day. Thank you, Dan.
Anybody else? Well, the other thing I really want to talk about is we've talked about the endowment fund that we're doing for fireworks. Tuesday of next week, we're going to meet at the Community Foundation. Officially kick that off, as you may recall, we're going to name that after Bill Rupke and Bill Buckingham. So we'll make that happen Tuesday of next week. We'll officially get that started. We're excited about that. Thank you letters for the fireworks for all the sponsors. Those went out just the last few days. Thank you to Stacy and her team for putting that together. We got that out. Just a good, successful program. A lot of good things going on. As we talked about before, we're gonna evaluate what we're doing here for lunches on a week-by-week basis. Look at some other options of what we can do. So, thank you for those who are RSVP. We're going to continue to try to work it that way. Just so we know what to expect. see what we can do going forward. So we got here. Anybody else have anything? Thank you for joining us in person. Thanks for joining us virtually. And this is Tim. I'm ringing the bell. We'll see y'all next week. Thank you.
See ya. See you, Gary.
Hey, thanks.
Yep, thank you. Blessings. Thanks, Mary Ann.
You too.
Thanks, everyone.